How's it going, everyone? So in this video, I want to kind of touch base on just kind of general questions about the Lightning Cat Black team. So, to start it off, why did we go to EDP this season? Personally, I tried to get us in EDP 4, not EDP 3. Red team played in EDP 4 back in the fall. I felt like that would have been a good division for us. But unfortunately, EDP 4 filled up the fastest, and I signed up on the very last day before EDP season closed for registration. So they put us into Division 3. So far, I'm pretty happy with our performance. I feel like in the first game, in reality of it all, the score was 2-1. All right, we had two mistakes on our end that cost us 2 goals. So on paper, yes, it was a 4-1 loss. In the reality of keeping up with the other team, in my eyes, I see it as a 2-1 loss. And then last week's game, 0 subs. The girls did exactly what I wanted to do, which we played heavy defensively. And I feel like they accomplished that really well. And I feel like they all that played should be extremely proud of themselves for holding down the fort, especially a team that had 5 subs. We got 0. We held them off to the last 2 minutes of the game before they got lucky with a shot. That to me is something to be pretty proud of. So in the reality of it so far, we are only a 1-point differential, based on play. And I really hope to see us get a win tomorrow. I want to win. I'm not here. I don't like losing. I tend to be a sore loser. I try, not to let everybody see that I'm a sore loser, but I want to win. Winning is very, important to me. It fuels competitiveness. It just helps, in my opinion, prove all the hard work that you put in, the success behind it all. Losing, it just shows okay, I need to learn what I lost from. I do think losing is also important because a lot of people today do not know how to take a loss. And then they scream in pillows and throw temper tantrums, and you can't do that. You got to understand why you lost. You got to figure out how to make yourself better, and then go out next week and try even harder and get away from the things that you did wrong and would cause you to lose in the first place. So, with that being said, on to the next portion. Why did we go EDP? I decided to put us in EDP versus CMSA again. One, because I felt like there was a lot of issue with red players wanting to play in the black game. And back in the fall, when we first started out, we did that because we had to figure things out. And then the wintertime, that happened, with the other kids playing different sports, it made it hard for me to try and have consistent numbers at the game. So I had to invite extra players to fill in for whoever wasn't showing up to the game due to another sport. So then, rolling into springtime, I chose to put us in EDP for the fact that we wouldn't be able to share players with Red all that much because Red's also going to be playing at the same time. And the only girls that are actually club pass from Red are Chan, Piper, and Mackie, and that's because they're the coach's daughters. And if I can't make a game and one of those coaches has to fill in for me, I would not expect them to show up to the game but without their kid. So that's the only reason those 3 are club passed. And that's why Mackie's playing on tomorrow's game, because Chan and Piper are playing basketball and are unavailable to play. So the question I've heard a couple times is, what are we doing with this team? Mostly meaning the black team. Am I just here to give them a place to play until until we merge back with the red team when we go 11v11? Or do I actually have a goal or an idea set for this team? And yes, I do have an idea set for this team, and I'm going to call it our team identity. I want our identity to be a possession-based soccer team. What is a possession-based soccer team? A possession-based soccer team is a team that once they receive the ball, their whole goal is to maintain the possession of the ball. Why do we want to play that way? Well, for one, if we have the ball, then that means the other team doesn't. And if we have the ball, we are controlling the fact that the other team cannot score on us, and when we can score. How do we become better at being a possession-based soccer team? Well, one is a rondo. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed I do a rondo just about to start off every single practice. Some form of variation of it, but the 4v1 rondo is the best fundamental teacher all around, not just for being a possessional-based team, just learning fundamentals of soccer. And I'll get into this later. Right now, I just kind of want to talk about the identity and what is possession-based soccer. So, to get it back into possession-based soccer, once we maintain the ball, it's our job to stay spread out on the field, maintain our shapes, to be scanning constantly. As a player approaches us, that's when we need to choose to get rid of the ball. At that, another important thing is off-the-ball movement, which is one thing that we all struggle with on this team. Once we get rid of the ball, we kind of just stand and watch, waiting to see what happens next. And we got to stop that. We have to be paying attention at all times. We need to look for open space. Once we get rid of a ball, we need to be expecting that the ball is going to come back to us and where we're going to play it next. And that's something that the rondo teaches. Why do we build out of the backfield instead of blasting a goal kick down the field? It's to maintain the possession. And yes, right now it is pretty sloppy. But the only way that the girls are going to improve on it is by consistently doing it. I make them do it in the games. Sometimes it doesn't work out. And it all comes crashing on us. And my hope for that is that they will get it, and they will get better at it. They will get faster at it. And once it all starts to click for them, that it's going to work. If you watch top teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, they're some of my top teams I like to watch. You can watch them in the Champions League, or the UEFA, which is Champions League, on Paramount Plus, and then you can watch them. You can watch Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal on Premier League on Peacock. I highly recommend watching their games. You can go on either of those two channels. You can bring up replays of their games and watch them. I make Lily and my other daughter Zoe sit and watch them with me. I explain to them why they're doing what they're doing. I make them kind of predict if this person gets the ball, where's he going to do with it next? And we'll pause it, and then I'll make them guess hey, he's going to pass it up to this guy, and I'll ask them why are they going to pass it to this guy, and then we'll play it and watch what happens. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes it's the players on the screen may not see that play there. It's a very good way to help your players get experience with reading the field and building soccer IQ. Back to the build out. So, I've been trying to really teach Hayden and Lily, especially since they play my goalies, how to read the press. I've done it. I explained it in the last video. I'll probably keep explaining it in more videos to come. It's very important. And, it's not just for them to understand. Everybody on our team needs to understand that. If the defender's creeping in or the wing is creeping in on the left side, that the ball's not going, which would be our right side. The ball's not playing that way. It's being played to the left, or it's playing up the field. And then the next question also is like, oh, I've heard this argument a lot that we don't play possession-based soccer in America, and to me that's BS. Like, we need to think of all different ways to play. I don't particularly care for the MLS Major League Soccer style of play. To me, it looks a lot like rec kickball. I've never watched an MLS game until we went to the Philadelphia Union game a few weeks ago. That's the first time I ever watched an MLS game, and I was not impressed with any of it. To me, it looked like, players wrestling on top of each other, just goalies blasting balls back and forth, or, and same on the field. And I don't like just blasting goal kicks and punts because it's only a 50% chance that we're actually going to get that ball. And typically, for both us and Red, we don't maintain the possession of our balls on punts or blasting goal kicks. And it's a hard concept to do, especially when the girls aren't allowed to use their heads yet. Once you're able to get your heads, yeah, you can get in there and continue hitting the ball down the field. But even still, it's easier for the defending team to jump in the air and chest the ball back to us rather than us trying to get the ball continue moving forward. And it's just a sloppy way to play, in my opinion, and there will be really no chance of getting past their defensive line playing that way. Everybody's got their own opinion on what they want to play, but me being the coach of this team, I'm not playing that way. I've told the girls plenty of times when I'm just giving them a little talk, in the middle of practice, at the end of practice, that I'm trying to teach them how to play chess on the field while everybody else is playing checkers. What I mean by that is we're trying to implement strategy to the way we're playing versus everyone else just playing random. Once the girls really start to understand and comprehend it, it will look better.